I'm curious your reaction to this, Shannon. How big of a problem did you have with Dak's answer?
I had a huge problem. That's Bush League, Dak Prescott. And the officials always run out to the field. Skip, have you ever seen officials walk off the field with the umpires in baseball, referees in basketball, or anything? They always leave the field in a timely manner. Because why? Players are coming on the field, photographers are coming on the field, media's coming on the field. So they're always running off the field. Stop pretending that this was the first time that you've seen officials run off the field. And why are you encouraging your fan base to throw trash at the official? They should have been throwing it at your Cowboys. They should have dumped the trash on your head because that's how you played yesterday, Dak Prescott. I'm tired of him and Mike McCarthy placing the blame on someone other than where blame should be placed. So was it the official fault that Randy Gregory jumped offside twice and gave the team first down? Was it the official fault that Neville Gallimore and Randy Gregory held and gave them automatic first down? Was it the official fault that Ty Smith and Connor Williams and Lyle Conlon constantly held? Was that the official's fault? Was it the official's fault that Dak Prescott had 7 points going into the fourth quarter and threw a terrible interception that allowed the 49ers to get a touchdown and go up 23-7? That's bull jive, Skip. That is Bush League. I am so disappointed in Dak Prescott that he would basically say, you know what, I'm okay with it because the officials cost us the game, and so trash should have been thrown in their direction or possibly hit it or possibly thrown on them. That is bull jive. That should be beneath Dak Prescott, and I am so disappointed. Yes, Skip, I pick against the Cowboys, but I like Dak. But I can't get down with him in this situation. He's absolutely dead wrong, and I hope he comes out today and apologize for what he said.
And to your point, Shannon, a second reporter gave him a second chance to walk it back, to redeem himself by saying, is that exactly what you meant? And he doubled down. Credit to them. Credit to the fans for bombarding the refs. I guess that's why, said Dak, they ran off the field. To your point, they always run off the field. So do NBA refs and baseball. They all trot off the field when the game is over.
Yes.
Timely manner. Got it. Shannon, we started this show September 6th of 2016, and on day number 1 of this show, I raved about Dakota Prescott, because I'd seen him in one preseason game out here, as you recall, at the Coliseum against the Rams, and in a second one, which was the final preseason game up at Seattle. And I was convinced he is my salvation. He is my savior, a fourth rounder that I watch closely. And I was a big fan of his on the other show that I did on ESPN when he lifted, remember, Mississippi State up to #1 in the country. I said, that's my man.
Right.
Love his football character, and I love his durability because Romo had turned into such an eggshell quarterback for me. He was always hurt and got hurt in that final preseason game at Seattle. So I've been the biggest Dak fan. As you know, in year 2, I loved him so much, we actually taped a commercial for Undisputed based around my love for Dak. And as you remember, he, right on cue, fell right on his face. Then when Zeke got suspended for 6 games, he was a disaster, was Dak Prescott, and the commercial never aired. So I've ridden that roller coaster with him.
It was a good commercial too, Skip.
It was pretty funny. I thought
it was great. It was great. It was great. Yes.
It took us all day to do it. We worked like 10 hours on it, and it was all for naught because Dak didn't live up. So we should have known then in 2017, and here we are now. And all this year, I've told you repeatedly on air that I've been disappointed with the way he handles himself in post games because he won't own any of this. Not one time after he stunk it up did he say, I stunk it up and I'm going to be better because my team deserves better. Not one time did we hear any of that from Dak all year. And it was really starting to not only disappoint me, but to horrify me because he's got to be the backbone of the team. He can't defiantly deflect the way Russell Westbrook does after Laker games. The point is that yesterday he went completely over the edge. And I'd like to read a quick quote from our friend Jarrett Bell, one of the prominent African-American voices covering pro football, maybe the most prominent. Jarrett wrote in today's USA Today, for one of the NFL's marquee headliners, a man who has almost always presented himself as a class act, to suddenly condone violence was just so tacky. And I will add to that, excuse me, just so wrong. Dak,
yes.
You're the face of the franchise. You make $75 million and you are condoning fan violence. It was stunning to me, and it was because he was so hurt over the loss. And now we get back to the play in question, Shannon, and I'm so conflicted today. I did think that Ramon George, the umpire, botched the play. But what I do not love about this, it gave Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott a way out. It gave them an excuse that they don't deserve. And to Jerry's credit, he jumped right in the middle of this. Where's Jerry's quote? I got to read it. The team shouldn't have been in position for that last play to have been something controversial. That's what Jerry said. So I'm not going to make it something bigger than it is. Okay, I got it, and I appreciate that. I was, as a fanatical fan, offended by the fact that the National Football League couldn't get its umpire in position to just touch the football in play and give them one last throw at the end zone, because I would have been all eyes. I would have given them a shot to pull the play off, for a miracle steal of a victory. But the point was, now Mike McCarthy and Dak are acting like they're completely off the hook for the previous, whatever it was, almost 60 minutes of football. And they're not, because they were pathetic. They looked poorly coached, poorly motivated, and poorly quarterbacked. And I don't disagree with any of your scathing criticism so far. But the point is that you can't then just go completely over the edge and over the cliff and say, way to go, fans. You felt just like we did. So fire away. Throw whatever you want to throw at them, because they deserved not only your ridicule, but they deserved what you threw at them. When I saw this last night, I about fell off my chair. Dak Prescott said that. And Shannon, I'll conclude with this. Through all the negotiation with Jerry, Dak became more and more of a sympathetic figure, because Jerry's the lowest hanging fruit and the easiest target in the world.
He is.
And it was so easy to say, go get him, Dak. Bet on yourself. Take that old coot to the cleaners and the bank, which he ultimately did. But again, I'm not sure he's living up to being that sympathetic figure as the leader of this franchise now, at the podium, at the microphone, because that was about as wrong as it gets, especially for the leader of America's team to say.
Yes, Skip, I co-sign everything you say. That was absolutely terrible, because it's not to be a quarterback of the National Football League team, Skip. It's just not good enough to play well. When you step to the podium, every word that you say is dissected, is scrutinized, it's under a microscope. So you have a lot more credibility than the other players on the team. And for Dak Prescott, the face of the team, to say what he said, like, it's okay because you're upset. We lost the game. We lost the game because we didn't play our best. Those penalties that were thrown, we earned them. None of those penalties, like, how you call a holding on that one? How did you call hands to the face? Skip, Randy Gregory in the backfield before the snap. And they looking around like, no, he moved.
Agreed.
You did that. And for Dak to say that, Skip, look, I get it. I work for Fox and FS1. It's my job to come out here and to debate you and do a great job of that. But I'm held accountable for my words in other interviews. Not just what I say on TV when I'm dealing with you, but in other interviews, be it television, radio, or in print. I'm culpable for that. So why would Dak put himself in that situation to condone that behavior when he knows it's wrong? He knows he didn't play well. But the easy thing to do, Skip, I'm going to do the misdirection. I'm going to put it on this umpire. So that way, y'all don't look at me having 143 yards through 3 quarters, turning the football over, missing wide open receivers. So I'll just put the blame on them, and you won't see how bad I actually played. and was led to one of the main reasons we didn't win the game. I am so disappointed in Dak Prescott that he would condone that.
Thank you. And to your point, of those franchise record-setting playoff 14 penalties called on my Cowboys, to your point, Shannon, not one time did I say, ooh, that's iffy, or ooh, I don't see that. Every one of them were justifiable. Every single one of them. The only thing that was not justifiable was that Ramon George, the umpire, age 50-ish, he's right around 50, was slow on the draw. He was a little late to the play. I know it was a lot to ask because it was bang, bang, and all of a sudden Dak takes off in a shocking quarterback draw. But you got to come on a dead sprint because they got the offense set in time to get the throw it in the ground play, to stop the clock. That they were positioned in full force time to do that if he had been right on the heels of Dak Prescott and been able to set the football just by touching it. But the point was he actually had to run over Dak to get to the football, and it just that's a bad look for the NFL, but not nearly as bad a look as Dak saying what he said about the referees after the game.
Well, I think everybody said, why would you run a quarterback draw when you don't have that little time and no timeouts? I think people are criticizing Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore for calling that play. Okay, if Mike McCarthy says, well, I don't want a 51-yard Hail Mary, what's the difference between a 30-yard toss and a 24-yard toss? If you're going to run verticals anyway, so why not just pull up 5-6 yards sooner? Go down now, all of a sudden you get an opportunity to spike the ball, and the umpire is 5 to 6 yards closer than what he was when you kept going. Because he thought about pulling up, Skip. If you go back and look at it, he thought about pulling up. He thought about going down earlier. He like, oh, I should go. No, let me try to get some more yards. And that, so where's that? He could have easily gone down 5, 6 yards sooner.
Yeah, most teams have a cutoff of 18 seconds. Some have 17, some have 16. And he pushed it to 14, obviously, by going later into his slide. I got it. But they still should have had one last shot. 18. Skip, I was with 18 because we felt we could get the offense off the field and the field goal unit on the field in order to kick the field goal in 18 seconds. That should, because everybody is ready to go. And a lot of times, the linemen are already on the field. So it's not like you got to run the snapper, you got to run the holder, the kicker, and maybe a couple of wings. But all the other, probably one D lineman and the rest of the offensive line is going to stay, Skip. So we felt very comfortable. If we had 18 seconds from the time the play ended, we could get on and off the field. But 14 seconds, Skip, that's cutting it real close. It was.
Really close. Those 4 seconds could have been crucial in maybe a different ending there that we're all going to be wondering, what if now? And I know that is not
me. I ain't wondering.
For you.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.